So it's Friday morning, and I'm on my way to the One Moto Show in Portland. Got everything I need packed up. Hopefully it's everything I need. Probably a couple of things I don't. But yeah, I'm on my way, heading to the Fauntleroy Ferry terminal. It was a lovely morning, and the day started with a quick hop over to West Seattle to catch the ferry to Southworth. I could have just taken I-5 south, but I'm not a big fan of the super slabs, so I had planned a route that, while almost double the length, would be a lot more pleasant to ride. Good morning. Heading to Southworth.
There you go, and you're 25. Okay, and then they'll ask to see that down the road.
Yep. Thank you. Have a great day. I've been a fan of the ferries since moving to Seattle, and I'll never tire of hopping to the front of the line on a motorcycle. This last January, I met a pair of brothers, Chris and Doug, whose great-grandfather had started these ferry lines. Back then, they were the Blackball ferries, but in 1951, ownership was transferred and they became the Washington State ferries. You'll meet Chris and Doug later in the video as they were kind enough to host me for the show. The gentleman behind me on the Indian here is David. I met him on the dock waiting for the boat and learned he was also heading to One Moto and was riding a route similar to my own. We'll see him again later too. I used to do a lot more distance riding, but I don't get as many opportunities to spend time in the saddle these days, so I was enjoying being on the road on such a beautiful morning. Back in the day, I used to log about 20,000 miles a year, including multiple unofficial iron butt days. The Iron Butt Association, if you're not familiar, is dedicated to safe long-distance riding and is the go-to for official long-distance rides. The minimum qualifying ride for certification is 1,000 miles in 24 hours. My certified ride was for 1,591 miles in 36 hours. My real mileage was about 1,623, but I didn't get credit for doubling back when I made a wrong turn in the southeast corner of Utah on my way to Four Corners. Most of my ride was off freeway on 2-lane roads. Over the years, I've learned a few things about moto travel, and I have 3 simple tips that made a huge difference to my riding enjoyment. 1. Hydration. Make sure you're staying hydrated. It makes a huge difference to your general awareness, especially if you're covering long distances or when it's really hot out. On any longer rides, I always have a Camelback or something similar. 2. Ear protection. I used to hate riding with earplugs, but I read somewhere that it could reduce fatigue by up to 30%. I was skeptical, but once I started doing it, I did notice a big difference. I wish I had started doing it earlier, and maybe I wouldn't have tinnitus these days. Number 3, this one might not apply to you, but I love starting my day early. If you're on the road at 5 a.m., there's rarely any traffic to worry about. Also, I've had some of the coolest experiences with wildlife in the early hours. Personally, and I would rather get to my destination early so I can relax in the evening. I don't know if you've ever had to set up a tent in the dark when you haven't even figured out where you're going to eat dinner yet, but it kind of sucks. Today I was noodling along some back roads west of Shelton when I came out at Elma and spotted David's Indian parked in front of the rusty tractor, so I stopped in and had a coffee while he finished his breakfast. Along the coast, the weather was a bit grayer, but not too wet, and there were plenty of twisty bits of road. Another tip, if you're planning to do a long trip, don't work on your bike the night before you leave. Whether it's adding a farkle or just routine maintenance, take care of those things well in advance, just in case there are any surprises. It's a mistake I've made, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. This is the Astoria Megler Bridge. It's 4 miles long, spanning the mouth of the Columbia River between Washington and Oregon. Opened since 1966, it's the longest continuous truss bridge in North America. Also, I just learned from Wikipedia that it was the final section of US 101 to be completed between LA and Olympia, Washington. As you can see, even at double speed, it takes a while to cross. It wasn't too bad on this occasion, but it can be quite gusty, enough so to be a bit scary, especially at the south end where you're 200 feet in the air. In Astoria, I stopped at Fort George Brew Pub for lunch. I had mentioned to David that I'd be stopping there, and right after I ordered food and picked an outside table, he rolled up and we continued our conversation from earlier. This is his bike, a 2019 Indian Springfield Dark Horse. I'm pretty sure he said he has an Indian Scout, too. He's a heck of a nice guy, and I'm glad to have met him. Continuing to Portland, the weather was getting nicer again, and I caught up to David on one of my favorite roads, Highway 47, between Clatskanie and Mist. I've ridden this road twice previously, heading north both times, so I was eager to ride it in the other direction.
heading down to the One Moto right now, yeah? Okay, cool. I'm going to follow you in.
You can ride 'em.
We're here. Made it to the One Moto Show.
Walking into the show was almost overwhelming. There was so much cool stuff to look at that I didn't know where to start. I knew I wouldn't be able to learn everything about every build, but I sure would have liked to. Let me show you a couple of things that caught my eye. While walking around Friday afternoon looking for a place to stash my gear, I ran into Doug, and it being the cousin of my Harley Super 10, I had to get the story on his 1950 BSA Bantam.
This one right here?
Yeah.
And Doug, remind me of your last name.
McMahon.
McMahon, right. This guy's ancestors started the Seattle Ferry system.
Yes, absolutely. What's now Washington State Ferries was my family.
And now you've got cool stuff like this.
I got cool stuff like this. And because it's British, it shits on the right side, not the wrong side. So your Harley shits on the wrong side.
That is correct.
This shits on the right side.
The cylinder looks smaller. Is this a 125?
123.
123?
Yeah. Eventually they were a 175.
Yeah.
I think they made a 150 for a minute, and then they went to a 175.
Yeah, Harley did the same thing. You know, they started with a 125, then they bumped up to the 165, and the last ones were 175.
Yeah.
My cylinder is currently out at the machinist being bored out.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I took it for its first test ride, and it had bad piston slide.
Oh, yeah.
I took it to have it measured, and the guy, when I went to find out how it did, he said, I thought I was making a mistake because it is so far out. You know, it's supposed to be like 3,000. It was like 18,000. I love this exhaust pipe.
Yeah, but it, you know, as a two-stroke, that's kind of a shitty design because you can't clean it out. You have to take it off and put like easy off oven cleaner in it, and then dump it
Bang
out.
it.
Yeah. And then they went to a round one that you could take out the end. So the next generation of muffler could take it apart and get to it.
You know, my chain is on the other side too, because my final drive is over here. I mean, I guess it makes sense. The whole thing is
They
basically
just
switched.
mirrored the
Yeah.
BSA's. So there's like 30 different versions of this motor.
Yeah.
And the BSA, I think, is the only one that they reversed everything. So it looks exactly the same, only opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Russians took it and they made something. I can't pronounce it. It
Minsk.
looks like it's Mach-Bub, and it's
Yeah, Mafia Pinsk.
ah.
And Yamaha made it.
Yeah, that was their first motorcycle,
That was their
the Dragonfly.
first motorcycle. And like they made them in a Myval or something was a Italian version. They made them all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, the design was widely distributed.
Yes. So
Well, super cool. I love it.
it's pretty cool. It's it's as original as it gets. I've got the original toolkit in that box. I've got the tire pump right here.
Oh, drooled.
This bike is a Lucas model.
Ah.
So it's the rarest of the 50s. So it's got this. This is the headlight switch, and this is the key switch, but it's got a battery and an electric horn.
Wow.
So the other ones had a horn that fit through here,
Yeah.
a squeeze bulb here, and no battery. So it was just magneto. And this key switch, it has on, or it has ignition and emergency. So if the battery's flat, we're actually gone.
You get started on
You
the
can
mag.
put it on emergency, and you can't run the lights, but you can run the bike.
So my Harley, I couldn't believe it. It doesn't have a key. It doesn't
Yeah.
have an on or off switch.
Yeah.
And there's just a plastic button on the case that grounds out the points for a
Oh.
kill switch.
These didn't have a kill switch. And I actually had to put an extra piece in here to get it to idle.
Yeah.
So they're actually designed to not idle.
They're just supposed to die when
So if you just let the throttle off, it'll die.
That's pretty funny.
That was the kill switch.
In addition to the Bantam, Doug told me all about the 1969 Rokon Trailbreaker that he had helped his friend Gary with. A two-wheel drive moto tractor.
It didn't have an exhaust.
Right.
It didn't have. We needed to rebuild the centrifugal clutch.
Yep.
And there's a weird bearing in the centrifugal clutch that allows you to kickstart it.
It's
So
a
it
one-way bearing.
a one-way
Okay,
bearing
yeah.
here.
Is it almost like a starter clutch in a normal motorcycle?
Well, I'm not sure. So it's roller bearings,
Yep.
right? But
But they lock up one way.
They lock
Yep.
up one
Yeah.
way. They've got little springs.
Yep.
And they make them brand new. It's a Timken bearing.
Ha.
I mean,
So we had to replace that. We had to get chains. He bought just length of chain, and
Yeah.
we cut them to fit. And what else? did we
Put tubes in the tires.
put tubes in the tires.
These are tubed.
Yeah.
Oh, huh.
They're the original tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, these tires, they don't make these tires anymore. It's an amazing bike. It's very silly. And it's fun. And, top speed in third gear is about 15 miles an hour.
I was going to guess 20.
But you could drag a Buick with it. And you can unscrew these, and the wheels will hold 4.5 gallons of fuel or water or whatever you want to put in them.
Beer.
So you can go out. Well, beer's carbonated. It might, and without anything in them, it floats.
At the end of the night, Friday, it was over to Doug's house where I would be staying with his brother Chris in the camper he had towed down from Seattle. Doug showed me around his garage and insisted we squeeze Ghost in with his bikes. A 1949 Harley WL, a 77 Triumph Bonneville, a 78 Harley Sportster, a Honda Dream, a Triumph Hurricane, and a Solex scooter in the back. Saturday morning, it was time to go for a ride, so we were off to get some coffee before heading to the show.
Hey, David.
Oh shit! Hey, how are you, man? I didn't even see you. I was looking at
Yeah, well, you gotta focus on the cool stuff, right?
before the Moto Show.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, this is, oh my man.
Oh shit! It's okay. It's okay. You just go back to the curb.
Oh, it's in gear?
No. It's
Oh,
it's
no.
in neutral. There you go. I think probably 14 years, maybe. They opened this location like after this is the 16th.
After coffee, it was on to the show.
Sign up for your demo ride right now. Born from legends, built for riding. Indian Motorcycle.
Harley-Davidson. Freedom starts here. Harley-Davidson is bringing rare bikes from their museum, tattoos on site, and custom gear. Find their booth and global history of the One Moto Show. Guided me rides since 1903.
Royal Enfield, built for customization, designed for the world. Royal Enfield is giving away a one-of-a-kind blank canvas custom. Here's the Megler. Don't miss your shot to win.
All right, I'm here with JP, the builder of this 1973 Honda CB750K. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so this is my first chopper that I've ever had, my second build. I got this when I first came here to Oregon. It didn't look like this, it was more like a bobber style.
Yeah.
And it was my first go on a vintage bike, so I didn't know anything about that. I came from New York, so I was riding more of a modern bike. And just riding this throughout the years, kind of breaking it, fixing it, breaking it, fixing it. Then I started kind of getting an idea of what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Once I finally know the skills and resources to do it on.
So the first thing that caught my eye about it when I was walking around earlier was the gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it might have started as something sort of stock and was chopped down.
Yeah, so this is actually a CB750F tank.
Okay.
Which is the later model. I narrowed it and then I shallowed it at the same time. One of the things that I really wanted to do was make sure to keep the badge.
Yep.
I really love the idea of when you talk about choppers, people go to Harley-Davidson all the time. I wanted this to be no confusion. You see it, if you don't know motors, you'll read it and you'll know what it is.
Yeah. And so I'm confused by the engine. Just because I look at it, it looks very modern, but yeah, tell me what's going on. What did you do? Is this is an old Honda motor still?
Yeah,
it is. So is this a new piece that you put on the valve cover, or is that the stock one?
This is the original 1973 motor. I started, I started tearing this down and rebuilding it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, I feel like we all had time.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, let me finally take my time to do it up. So I just took the engine apart, got my good friend in the East Coast to powder coat it for me, refinish just to kind of clean it up.
Yep.
I was like, well, I'm here. I'm gonna make a bike that could be put into shows. Let me just go through the details of redoing everything. So powder coated heads, Cerakoted exhaust, then all the little covers are just powder coated throughout the bike.
Beautiful. Well, I absolutely love it. Thanks for your time.
I have a little quick piece for you.
Oh, yeah.
So this is actually, I think, probably one of the things that people look at, like, what is that, right? So for those people that's a 4-cylinder magneto. I made this carbon fiber plate. It's modeled after the ARD magnetos that came out in the 70s.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to do like an open belt drive, so it doesn't have any coils, no electric ignitions, kickstart only with the magneto.
Wow, that's awesome. That's super cool. All right. Thank you. David.
Oh, hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, my man?
Good.
Look at this.
I know. I was checking out all the detail work on it. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, the amount of time it's got to take.
All engraving. Beautiful.
So what else is catching your eye?
I just got in like a few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah?
I've just been around. Got a little beverage.
Yeah.
I'm just taking an overall look.
Yep.
And then
there's a lot.
Oh yeah, there. I mean, I've only been around this area, and I still haven't seen any of that.
Yep.
I met with a bunch of riders from my group.
Yep.
And we were there like at a dealership, like getting together and whatnot. And we got here like a half hour ago.
Okay. Cool. Well.
Same as me, where it's like really slow down at the end of the day, trying to push, get back into activity.
I'm here with Dalton, and this is his Honda CR750. What can you tell me about it?
So originally I got basically a bunch of parts that I've had for like 5 years ago. Completely about it. All the parts like the tank is original lost seals go through the tank. The pipes are old used, like the CR750 Jason pipes. Halves magnesium, CR750 had the real deal. Aaron was really cool about the brakes. He hooked me up on the getting basically a dual disc set up.
Yeah.
Throttle valves. Motor's built with a 1026 cc. 11.5 compression, panic cycle up the motor. It's got a JMR stage 4 hand lever side the case valves. It's got JMRs in Mike Rick and the CB750 wall people that know that name and talk about that kind of stuff. It's fully boarded, polished. It's got the little connecting rods in it. Work crankshaft. Motor with the exotic base film like everything in Mark 12, she put out about, I would say, roughly 118 or 120 horsepower. Estimated top speeds around 150, so probably 160 with a light burst on it. All the parts on it, basically, I built this bike in a way of like, I wanted to have something true to the nature of this northern bike.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people like try and modernize them.
Yep.
I want to do this very track, and kind of like. I want to it would be my privateer attempt. If I was going to race Daytona in 72 and the technologies around, this is what I would have raced for.
So have you had this on the track?
It's classic. I mean, it's got the short ratio Daytona. It's got a Team Honda Daytona transmission in it. It's built for this bike. If you're interested, I have the actual local specs and how to construct and build all the blueprints on the garbage truck because I got all the from the guy that was on the old Honda race team right back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And basically, like, so first gear is like starting out in a really up second gear, and then from there it goes into second through fourth gear is super short, and it's a close ratio, and then because the transmission was designed to race at Daytona, fifth is super long. But a lot of people that run these transmissions are like, oh, they suck because they're so tall.
Yeah.
If you have the torque of a 1,000 plus cc motor, it works.
Yeah. How long does it take it to build once you get into that top gear into the I mean, is it still a little bit flat when you shift into top gear? No, it just goes.
It's just like, I mean, it's got the mega cycle with 25, 75 pounds and shiny form.
Yeah.
The mega cycle. And honestly, like, it'll pull power on it like 10,500.
Wow.
I've had it up to around 11.
Wow.
And then with the megaphone before exhaust, it screams.
Yeah, I bet. I'm going to get some closer amounts of this. Thank you.
So as you get these are Yoshida TMR MJN multi-jet fuel at 32mm carbs. The throttle response on these things is on par with fuel injection.
Wow. It's absolutely gorgeous. So you said it's going to go pro racing with who?
So there's a girl named Bridget LeBur that I'm helping out, and we're going to go race Classic Max TT in Isle of Man. Hopefully, this year is kind of impossible to make because it's coming up quite quick.
Yep.
We're going to go spectate in July or June to see the senior TT, but hopefully everything works out and she can qualify and stuff, and we hopefully make the Max next year in August.
Oh, awesome. So what are you looking at today?
So I thought this was pretty neat. This was originally like a modern, like an 08 650, XR 650. Big enduro bike. The amount of work they've had to do to shorten up the frame and to take all the extra stuff off to make it into this is just an incredible amount of work. Everything's gorgeous and really well done. Keeping on the same stuff. Single carb, but dual exhaust ports, one big thumper.
I love the anodized like valve covers and stuff.
Yeah, the attention to detail in this pipe. This custom pipe that they TIG welded.
Yeah, that looks like it's probably titanium, huh?
It probably is by the yellowish color on it. But I could never. There's gorgeous welds on it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably hand done. So a lot of skill. This is gorgeous. Really cool attention to detail.
Very cool. Cool. Thank you. Standing here with Lloyd Smith and his unrestored 1969 Honda Dream, and it is immaculate, as you can see. So Lloyd, what can you tell me about this bike?
I started off in 1954 riding a Harley, and then after I got older, I got married. It went away, and then a friend of mine had a Honda 305 Dream, and they said they were selling them really cheap in 1969 for $398.
Wow!
And so I went down. It was in the crate at Pollux Marina in Grants Pass, Oregon, and I used my tax return to buy it, and I bought it, and then they put it together for me, and then I've ridden it ever since. Been up to Crater Lake. It's been around, but as I got older, I don't ride as much. It's got 11,000 miles on it.
So how many miles did you say it's got on? 11,000. Wow.
And then the photographs that I've got laid out here, that's my wife. That's our 50th wedding anniversary picture there.
Oh, excellent.
And this is down at Astoria.
Okay, yeah.
And, so that was about a year ago I did that.
Yeah.
We've been married 59 years now. So.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
I am a shameless self-promoter.
That is awesome. So that's yours?
Yeah. This is Gina's bike here. This is her first bike. This has evolved over the last 40-some years.
Yeah.
And so this is the current.
I love the air cleaner.
Well, she's an artist, so everything is done with that eye. So,
did you do the seat cover yourself?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
The Pendleton blanket.
That's awesome.
And I taught myself how to do gold leaf this year.
Oh, cool.
So,
Got a proper, not a Norwegian on it,
Yeah.
for all time, my number one.
Oh, that's awesome. So this is yours?
Yeah, this is it's a Donghai. It was made in Shanghai and for just a couple of years, and the People's Liberation Army was thinking about switching up to a new design bike, so they like British design. So this is their improved design, and you can see the styling is just extraordinary. They put a lot of thought into that. But yeah, well, they were emulating British, and but the PLA didn't care for the bike as much because they're Changs, that they always have ridden. The Chang, do you know that?
Yep. There's like the CJ 750 and
they were kind of like Lou's giving them loose here. they were kind of used to them and they didn't want to change, so they broke all the tooling. They took all the bikes that were left to Vietnam and Albania and just sort of dumped them on them. And they've sort of vanished into obscurity, so they only ever made a few thousand of them.
Wow.
So I'm in contact with like 6 guys that have bikes.
Uh-huh.
And so I found this on a Craigslist ad or a Facebook marketplace maybe, I can't remember. And it was like a couple $100, but all there was a fork, the main frame, front frame section, and the engine. That's all there was. And the chances of getting any more of the real Dong Hai stuff is less than 0.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we just shuffled through the garage, found what we could. Turns out Morton 600 pipes from the 50s will fit.
Okay.
So I had Armors send me out a set of bare pipes that had not been plated. And so that was cheap and easy. And just everything else is just out of the garage. Just stuff.
Is there supposed to be a front brake or something?
Yeah,
going
but
on?
I didn't have one.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a really nice flat track wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just like the flat track guys will be pissed. And then when I was trying to figure out so on this side, if you look at the Dong Hai and the kanjis for Dong Hai, Dong Hai is like Shanghai is like the kind of what is it, something over the water.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe over the ocean, right? So that's what that means. So Dong Hai means the beautiful water, beautiful ocean. So I needed I had the kanjis for Dong Hai.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so that was easy. And then when I was talking to them about it, so they go, oh yeah.
I like that. Yeah, yeah.
But when I was talking to some guys about it, I needed to figure out some kanjis for the bike. I wanted to make sure I had the pronunciation correct.
Right.
And because I wanted beautiful like the ocean.
Right.
Right? So that's
Mai Tong Hai?
That's this right here. So that's beautiful like the ocean. And I asked the guy, he said, he's from Shanghai. I said, were they very fast? He was familiar with the bike. He says, and he snorts and he goes, well, like a duck. So it's like, okay, it's fast like the ocean and it's beautiful like a duck. Or fast like a duck, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's a duck on the other
I was
side.
looking at the duck with the
so that
the
just
jeweled
became the
eyes.
running joke.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He figured out all the kanjis and the
that's awesome.
the correct translation, so you get it.
That's what I was going to ask. What are your other bikes?
Yeah, and the Triumph Bobber has all the things that I loved about this bike without all the things that I hated about this bike. So it's a little more convenient.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this one is kind of more, he told me years ago, if you want to keep your cool shit cool, you can't ride, it can't be your regular ride.
Right. So you take it out for special occasions, shows, stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody needs the old darling in their garage,
Yeah,
be it a
yeah.
car or whatever.
Yep.
Don't try to use them every day because you're not good.
So that was my weekend, and a taste of the One Moto Show. I had a fantastic time. I met a ton of people, including some of the Motorcycles and Misfits crew. I saw some incredible workmanship, and I even got a free little embroidery from Oregon Screen Impressions on my fleece. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it inspires you to make it to the show next year. I do have one more clip to share before I wrap this video, though. At the end of the day, Saturday, I got one more treat as Doug was kind enough to teach me how to ride his 1949 Harley-Davidson WL45.